Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Oh, hey there, Internet! Welcome back to the Intoxicated podcast. This is your host, Sarah, and if you're new to this show, this is a show where I have friends on and they pick an alcohol, and we talk about something that they know a lot about. Really anything that they're passionate about or something that's interesting that they can teach me about. It's funny, I've done a lot of episodes in the past with a lot of different couples. We had Jesse and Sandra, we had Kurt and Celine, we had Caitlin and Cole. And what's really funny about this is that I'm actually a super bitter single person. And yet I have all these couples on, and every time I have a couple on, I feel like I get more and more optimistic. I always feel like I walk away from these episodes feeling a little bit better about my situation, a little more hopeful, and feel just generally like I can go out there and try to meet someone. This week's episode is with my friends Melanie and Ben, and I just have to say, they were so freaking cute together. I don't normally get like overly sappy about friends I know who are couples, because they're my friends as well. But you could just tell they both had so much love for each other. When they were talking about each other, they were looking dead in each other's eyes, and that shit hit me in the feels. And I just have to say as well that these are two amazing people. And it was such a good episode. I actually walked away from this episode feeling a lot better about love. Kind of almost loving love in a way. Almost. I think, I love it. I love it. I think deep down underneath all this sort of bitterness and pessimism, there is a true hopeless romantic deep down inside of me. So yeah, I just had to admit that and throw that out there. So yeah, I'm feeling better about love. And the way that I see it is that, you know, whenever I do meet that person, it's not going to matter that I met some asshole who stood me up and made me go to a bar and wait for him for a half an hour. That stuff's not going to matter anymore. So guys out there who stand girls up, a message would be great. It's pretty jerky to do, generally speaking, but if you want to just make it a little bit better, send a message with an excuse, like, my dragon ran off and I have to go find it. Anything. I'll take anything. I'm a simple lady. You could even say that you changed your mind. Still a lot better than being stood up. But all that said, guys, but seriously, I really do love talking to couples. I really, truly do think it is helping a lot of how I feel about love and how I'm going about meeting someone. Melanie is actually 34 weeks pregnant. So we get into a lot of pregnancy talk. Another area of which I'm quite fascinated about and love talking to my friends about, because I love hearing different perspectives on this. What's great about this is Melanie is extremely open, honest, and hilarious about the pregnancy. So it's a doozy. It's very entertaining. There's some funny stories in there. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. As always, guys, make sure you are subscribed to Intoxicated Reviews over on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you find podcasts. There is a new episode up on there with Corey and Jen, who did a date night episode with Freddie versus Jason, and still way more to come on that channel. So make sure you are subscribed to that and also following us on all socials. That is Facebook and Instagram under Intoxicated Podcast, and on Twitter at @in_toxicated. If you want to tweet at us or email us, you can email us at intoxicatedpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send us any feedback, anything at all, would be great. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy the episode, and thanks as always for listening. Welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. We're only kind of intoxicated today because I'm here with Melanie and Ben. Say hi, guys. Hi. It's always the awkward start. Like, I know why I waved. She waved at the mic.
Hello, microphone. Yeah. I'm Ben, in case you're wondering which one of us is Melanie. And
the obvious male voice is Ben.
That's right.
And Melanie, So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my god, I'm so excited to have you guys. So I normally start off the podcast talking about what we're drinking. So we are drinking some Garrison Tall Ships. Is it just Tall Ship? Tall Ship Ale.
Yep.
Ale?
Yeah.
Yes, it is a local brewery here in Halifax, and it's pretty awesome. And we just got done with the Tall Ships.
Yes, Tall
So
Ships
I thought it
Festival.
was- Did you guys get out and see any of it?
No.
I did see some of it from work. I work down on the waterfront, so
That's a good
view.
view. Yeah.
That came out like that. I'm really proud of the fact that we missed it.
Like,
But I,
no, I didn't.
That's right, and fuck you.
it's just I've really been enjoying not being around crowds.
Yes.
So I feel like I've accomplished something. I'm like, that's right. I did not support my city at all.
Sorry, Melanie's very pregnant.
Yes, we should preface this
Yeah.
by saying that me and Ben are drinking the Tall Ships.
Yes.
Melanie is drinking non-alcoholic.
Beck's non-alcoholic, which is pretty
Yes.
good. It's
You've had
it's
this
good.
before.
I have had this before. I've missed beer.
Yeah.
It's been a long summer.
You're like, it's kind of the same, but not really. Just not quite the same.
You
But
just hear the like
it's-
emotional quiver in her voice
Yeah.
as she looks at the beer bottle.
It doesn't make my cheeks feel hot in the way that I like alcohol to do.
Leave that to us.
Oh,
We'll
stop. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we should say, Melanie, you are, how far along? You're 36 or 37?
I'm 34 weeks.
34.
So almost
I'll be
35.
35 this Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you have a little over a month left, if I'm doing my
Yeah,
math?
yeah, about
Thereabouts?
like 5.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I keep saying if he's fully cooked, he can come at any time. Because I am
Miserable.
Ready to be
done.
done.
I am done.
So this is very interesting to me because I had Jesse and Sandra on.
Right.
And this would have been probably about I think she was doing like a week or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in the same state of mind as you.
Yeah.
I had another friend on who was like very freshly pregnant, like hardly even showing.
Mm-hmm.
So I love getting like these different perspectives on pregnancy
Yeah.
because everyone's doing it. Everyone faces it in a different way, and every woman experiences it differently. You know what I mean?
And some women are all about it and they love it and it's so magical. And okay, here's what I said to Ben.
Yeah.
I said, don't get me wrong, pregnancy is a fucking miracle, but it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's wonderful. I love that we're having a baby. I can't wait for him to be born. But it's gross and I feel like crap.
And I love, and that's, I think, why I was like so stoked to have you on the show, because you were very open and honest with this stuff, and you were unapologetic about it, and that's what I'm all about. I'm not a huge fan of these women who are like, oh, it's so, like, you know what I mean? Like, hiding it almost.
Yeah.
It's like, you deserve, like, your body's going through something.
Yeah, it's
You
crazy.
deserve to talk about it.
And and for some women, it's like it's so easy. You see them like Instagram pregnancy, new
They're always in
moms,
a
whatever,
field with a flower
or they're
crown.
doing a marathon or something like that, and that's fine. Like everybody's experience with pregnancy is slightly different, but it seems like the one that gets the most media attention is the active mom, just glowing, having a great time,
Just ran a marathon.
and like when Melanie says is like pregnancy is disgusting, she doesn't mean that it's it's a miracle and it's amazing and we marvel all the time at what incredible things that our body's just doing on its own. But you feel like shit all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean like disgusting. Like, it's not that I think like babies are gross. I mean just how it comes out in me, like
How it's manifesting.
like puking and pooping. It's just
Yes!
it's
Burning the candle at both ends,
It's gross.
metaphorically
Oh
and
my
literally.
gosh. So that's something that fascinates me too, because some women are just like, yeah, first trimester, got over it, and now I'm fine. But you've had nausea.
I'm still on like an anti-nausea medication. I've had it. People would say, oh, I think by 8 weeks you'll feel better. And then I was like, oh, by 12 weeks. And then by 16 weeks. And then somewhere around like the 25th week, people were like, you're going to be sick until he comes. And maybe during.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They seem to keep pushing the target date ahead. Like
Yeah.
there's mommy
due
blogs.
date?
Obviously, mommy blogs are like a huge thing. So they kept but every time we'd hit the 8 week mark, and Melanie's like, I still feel sick. We'd look, and there'd be someone out there who says, no, by 10 weeks. By 10 weeks
Definitely
you'll be
not.
by 10 weeks you'll feel better. And then 10 weeks comes and Melody's still feeling miserable, and we look and there's another mommy blog being like, 12 weeks is the guarantee point where you just start feeling better all the time. And so that it was just a moving target. And I have to wonder, between in pop culture and in media that like the active mom and all these mommy blogs kind of consistently moving that date ahead. Is this just like a scheme? Is this like a conspiracy to just be like, oh, pregnancy is amazing. Everybody has like, when you get pregnant, you're going to eat so much yogurt. You're going to be so active. You're going to be getting out there and be the best time of your life. When the reality is that's not always the case. And we have absolutely no idea how many other women have as hard of a time with this as Melanie's had. Because it's like the silent minority.
Yeah. And I would say there are women that have it way harder than me that have to go to hospital and be put on IV because they're dehydrated because they vomit so much. I wasn't like that, but I'm tired of throwing up.
Yeah, crazy. So we'll start at the beginning.
Okay.
It's a good place.
Not the conception. But
well, let me tell you. I've got some photos here I'd like to share. Oh, right, it's a podcast.
It's not quite a visual cast yet. But friendship origin story. So I met Melanie through Jesse and Sandra. I met you, I'm pretty sure, on the day of Sandra's bachelorette at your house. I'm pretty sure that's when we formally met. It may have
been then, yeah. Or I think you're right. I think it was one of those things where I was like, I think we've met before, sort of, maybe, but I'm not really sure, so can we meet again?
Maybe not formally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of when we formally met.
Yeah.
We've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing with you, which is like, every time I feel like we hang out, I'm crying over something. It's like, and it sucks because I tell people, I'm like, Melanie's so cool. I just want her to like me, but I'm pretty sure she thinks I'm a hot mess because every single time I'm around you, I'm pretty sure I cried to you on your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt really fucking bad about that because I'm like, it's your birthday. Shit.
Yeah, you're supposed to cry on your birthday if you want to.
Only if you want to. Only if you want to. But it's just one of those funny things of like, I feel like every time we cross paths, I'm having boy problems or like something.
I always feel that that's the sign of a good party though, if somebody ends up crying.
It is, absolutely. And that's how we've measured like a rate of success with parties. It's like who at some point sequesters themselves into the spare room and is just having a bad time.
You can guarantee that will be me. Like if you're ever feeling like you don't have that friend, just let a girl know.
Sarah, this party is shit. We need you to come and amp it up. I don't care what it takes.
Fucking funny. Oh my gosh. So obviously we met through Jesse and Sandra, and I met Ben through you guys, and at the wedding, and all of that.
That's right. And karaoke too. And like I host karaoke sometimes, fill in for our regular hosts, and you've been going to karaoke for a long time as well.
Ben did karaoke on one of my favorite birthdays ever, which was my 30th. That just passed. That was with Jesse. Birthday. Me and Jesse had a joint party, and it was amazing, and I couldn't thank you enough for giving me karaoke on my, like, it's just like I can die happy now. I had a karaoke birthday. I'm fine.
That's great. And what's interesting is, this is a little off topic, but karaoke is such a like unifying element to our social circle and for Melanie and I as well, because that's actually, we met on St. Patrick's Day, not at a karaoke night, but that's where we continued to meet was at karaoke night because of mutual friends there.
My entire friend circle I met at karaoke, which seems like it should be the plot for some kind of like rom-com or something.
We should make a movie out of this.
You know? And I say it to other people, I'm so used to like going to karaoke regularly, even though it's been a while now since I've done it regularly, but I'll say to people like, oh yeah, like a bunch of us, like, we just go to karaoke once a week. Or
people are like, karaoke?
Yeah. I know, they look at you like, what kind of character are you?
And then the next question is the most surprising, and it's always, what, do you like sing?
Like, who goes to karaoke and doesn't sing?
Like, you don't sing.
That's sad.
I do it every now and then.
Yeah,
you gotta. Okay. You gotta get in there and sing.
It took me a while, and then I realized that, because there are some people with great voices.
Serious chops.
Mm-hmm.
And because there are a lot of theater people that go, and they're all like, they're singing and dancing, and it's like they come with the costume changes.
Yeah.
And, But then once I started realizing that no one really cares if you sound terrible, that's when I decided to start singing.
It's all about stage presence.
100%. If you're having a great time and you're like really laying into whatever you're singing, it absolutely.
And I have a theory that even if you suck, as long as you're loud.
That's right. You can't be good, be loud. I think that works in politics as well.
That kind of does. Oh my god. Wow. There's the bell.
I'm not.
Oh, there it is.
I was gonna say I'm not dinging for that. Don't encourage him, Sarah.
The bell is like a double-edged sword. It can get. I had an episode that got way too drunk, and it was just like ding, ding, ding. And I was like, oh, frig, the bell. Too much. Calm it down. But that's super freaking cool because Jesse Saunders kind of met through. I think we need to make this movie happen and somehow work a plot into it that I meet someone at karaoke.
There'll be it'll happen, I'm sure of it, because it's such a positive and friendly environment.
It's so
which some karaoke nights aren't. Like some karaoke nights you can go, and if you're not really that great, there are people there who'll be like, "Boo," and that sucks. Nobody likes that.
That's mean.
I've never experienced that at the Frog yet.
No, it doesn't happen there.
But because I think like there's other karaoke places around Halifax that I might not put this in, but specifically the what's that place up on Roby?
Oh, the Lion's Head.
Yeah. Or the Dome. The Dome has an intense karaoke because they have a bell dong thing that if you're not good, they like ring it and you have to get off the stage.
That's brutal.
I know. I'm like, this is karaoke. It's not American Idol.
That's some reality TV bullshit, right?
Right?
That's horrible.
That sucks. I'm like once at Barely's, one of my first karaoke experiences, it was karaoke night at Barely's, and I guess it's really nice now, but at the time it was a little bit of like a high stakes, somewhat aggressive karaoke night.
Oh my gosh.
And I got up and I sang, and I don't even remember what I sang, but I sang something, and there was a table of girls near the stage who were just like booing the whole time, and I'm like, this isn't fun. Who is this for?
Even if someone sucks, as long as it can be awkward sometimes.
Right. And if you're really shy,
if it's not a crowd pleasing song and they're sucking, that's when it can get awkward.
Have you ever been there when somebody gets up and requests to do like a song without music?
Acapella.
No.
That's rough.
I don't think so.
It's happening.
Yeah?
It is absolutely happening.
So Ben, you've probably seen it all through this, like through hosting.
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of the archetypes that you get at a karaoke night, and there will rarely but occasionally be a guy who really, really badly wants to sing like some Stompin' Tom Connors or like Danny Boy or something like that, and he's like, I don't need a track. I don't need a track. And he'll get on there, and he's way drunker than he thinks he is.
Yeah.
And it goes off the rails really quickly.
Shit.
And that's when you're just like, you give him like 30 seconds, and then you pull the mic down and you go, thanks, that was Jimmy, and thank you very much, Jimmy.
That's a good way to go about it.
You just gotta thank him and get him.
And as far as he's concerned, he's been up there for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, he has no idea.
Okay, so I have a question.
Shoot.
This is a juicy one. And you can plead the fifth if you want, if you know what that game is, which is like you can just choose not to answer it.
Right, yeah.
I should have arranged.
You know that game where
if I was smart?
You know the game, the Fifth Amendment.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to. But it's a game on this show, Watch What Happens Live or something like that.
Sure.
And they ask a series of like personal questions, and like you can plead the fifth on one. I just have one question for both of you. Sure. That's going to be hard for you to answer.
Okay.
Who out of our friend group is the best karaoke singer, and who's the worst?
Ooh.
Worst is tough.
I'm getting savage on here.
See, that's tough because karaoke is there is a bit of subjectivity with karaoke.
That's true.
So somebody who's really awful, but has like an awful singer, but has a really great stage presence.
Yeah, that's true.
Is great. Like Ziggy, my friend Ziggy he's great. He's an okay singer, and sometimes he sings songs that he really loves, but they are a bit out of his range, and it can be pretty rough. But he's so passionate that you just gotta love it. Like you're just so into it. So that is a bit subjective in that, but like objectively, singing talent versus less singing talent. I don't know.
You can just pick the. Well, how about this? Just pick the best one.
Just pick the best.
Don't name the worst.
The best of our like social circle. Yeah. I'm not really sure. But right now, of the like regulars that go, there's a girl named Jade.
Oh, I think I saw her.
She kills it all the time. She does like Amy Winehouse sometimes.
Fuck yes.
And she really knocks it out of the park. She's really, really good. Jesse always does a really great job. But he's a good singer, but he's not a great singer, but his stage presence definitely takes it up to the next level. And often there will be costumes involved, which is not required, but definitely enjoyable.
I know, I love it.
I always get a kick out of watching Lando.
Yes, I was just gonna say
he's really into it, especially when he does his like
Totally
He rasps it.
he gets all raspy. And
He does that
sexy.
for Tom Petty. Last Dance with Mary Jane.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one. And he's very passionate about it.
I would actually put my vote on Lando for the best one.
I would say that's his. I would say Last Dance with
Mary Jane?
With Last Dance with Mary Jane by Tom Petty is probably got him laid more than once. I would guess.
Really?
I'd have to guess. I haven't consulted with him about it, but that's.
I've thrown my bra at him at karaoke a couple times.
I think I remember at least one of those occasions.
And with like trying, and then it never happened. But I'm just like, I appreciate a good performance.
Absolutely.
And I'm not a subtle person, so rather than saying, hey, good show, you're cute,
like,
I throw my bra.
Here is a piece of my undergarments.
That's
as
way
is
to go
tradition.
I've done it a couple times, actually, karaoke.
Yeah.
Has it worked ever?
No. Not at all.
Aww.
Not at all. But hey,
I mean,
we're all
maybe-
gonna change it up every now and then.
Yeah, maybe change up the tactic. I don't know, throw a shoe.
I could try panties.
Could try panties. I didn't want to dive straight for the panties. That's like
Candy?
it's like a skip in the flirting aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's straight to the like main event.
I don't want to be old fashioned, but
But a phone number.
Buying somebody a drink.
Oh come on, boo, boring, lame.
I agree.
The way to the man's heart is through his crippling alcoholism.
I have the biggest crush on the bartender there.
He is pretty gorgeous.
And my friends last night were just like, just pour him a drink or just ask him, like, just do it. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just like having crushes. I feel like a 15-year-old girl.
But
But like,
crushes are
honestly,
fun.
it is a lot of fun to have a crush on someone.
Because then if for whatever reason it's not going to go beyond that crush, then once it's gone, it's gone.
Exactly.
And
And then
there's a
no
bit of-
more excitement or
Yeah.
mystery.
There's fun with
mystery.
not knowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Good old fickle frog.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed.
But you might
Tis a
want
fickle
to
mistress.
throw undergarments at him because he probably gets drinks purchased a lot.
That's
So
true.
you want to stand out.
I want to stand a bit more. Yeah, actually, fucking good point. Yeah. That's
Actually,
excellent.
here's what you do. You buy him a drink,
Okay.
and then you name the drink after him, and then you just drop your panties in the drink. And then
I need to put this in. I don't think he listens, but if he does, now he knows.
that's right. Now you're gonna ask for a drink, and he's gonna be like, I know where this is going. He's gonna preempt you, drop his own panties in the drink.
Oh my god. I love
It's
it.
the best of both worlds, really. It's the
What
ultimate
worlds?
power move.
That is a power move. But guys, I would like to know the Sparks Notes version. Melanie, you kind of got into it before we start recording, but how did this happen? Like this union, this awesome, because this is an awesome relationship right here.
It's pretty good.
She's batting her eyelashes at me.
She is batting
I mean, you want me to
eyelashes.
start?
But you guys mentioned you were friends first.
Yeah, we met on a St. Patrick's Day.
2011.
I think it's
Okay.
2012.
Was it 2012?
2012, I think.
So 5 years
I
ago.
think.
There
Yeah,
was.
it was. I think it was 2011.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Semantics.
So yeah, we met at a St. Patrick's Day. I was still am friends with Ben's cousin and old roommate at the time because I had been in a play with both of them. And we met at St. Patrick's Day and we chatted a lot and we became friends because you hadn't been living in the city for very long at that point, I don't think.
No, I mean, I had lived in the city for a couple years at that point, but I moved here from a university to another university, so then I was kind of the old guy at that university, so I didn't really make a lot of friends there.
Brutal.
And so I had my roommates, Steve and Sean, who are like just the best dudes, and they're amazing. Steve's my cousin, Sean is one of my best friends. A couple of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
They single?
But I didn't really have anybody outside of that. They
Yes.
both are, I think, actually. So,
And both very handsome.
Oh yeah.
that's right. And Steve even works at a bar, so
So you can
pull
try
a
the panty
drink
swabs.
You can the panty drink.
Oh my
maneuver.
god, that's funny.
But yeah, so I didn't have a lot of friends at the time, and I was kind of going through a rough time personally, and I didn't really want to go out. And Sean encouraged. He's like, "I'm going out. There's going to be lots of great people there and everything." And I was like, "I don't know. I don't really want to go out." And he's like, "Come on, you'll have a good time." I'm like, "Oh, all right, fine." So I went out with Sean for St. Patrick's Day, and Melanie and I really, really hit it off.
We're talking a lot about journalism.
Yep.
So I'm a journalist, and Ben had taken journalism school. And
Perfect.
I'm a nerd, so I was like, no, let's talk about that.
Yeah, we were geeking out.
So
That's important, I think.
it was nice. You know,
It's so important to have common interests.
yeah. And you know, like certain people, like you just meet and you know, like right away, like I can be friends with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Ben started going to karaoke. That was really at the like the pinnacle of every Tuesday karaoke. Ben started going, and then you started meeting everybody, and
right.
I stared meeting more people by going.
So it was like
as
it was like our karaoke golden era. It was at that time. It was just like.
I met a lot of people.
Dave had started the karaoke night maybe only a year earlier, and he had encouraged some of his friends to come. So it was the only people who really knew about it and were coming regularly were already friends, and they just kept bringing more and more friends and adding more friends to the social circle. So everybody was friends with everybody there, and that really contributed to the.
And that's how
positive
now we
vibe.
all know each other, which is crazy.
Yeah,
It's
we
like
all
an
know each other
insane
through
web.
But it's
karaoke.
funny to think back that far and realize, like, I think about all the people I didn't know, who are now like such an important part of my life. But yeah,
Absolutely.
so we were friends for a number of years, and then decided to not be just friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think fate do you guys believe in fate?
I kind of do.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I kind of do. I believe that. I don't believe that like there's like kismet or that kind of thing, but I do feel like you are where you need to be in whatever situation you're in.
Right.
So
Things happen for a reason.
I hesitate to even say that, but like some people say everything happens for a reason, but I've heard it said like everything happens and just stop it there.
That's very, very
everything
true.
does happen, and yeah, you're only in it for the moment, and then you can move on.
I just want to say right now, the way Ben's looking at Melanie is making my heart hurt. You guys are adorable. So I want to know about this first kiss.
Oh,
Ooh.
Because I love first kisses. And I think like that moment right before you kiss someone is one of the best, most magical
It
moments
really is
ever.
like a will they, won't they? Like is this is this
Like, what's
really
about to
happening?
Well, there's
And
that
you
point-
hold your breath and time stops. And
Yeah.
well, there's that point where you're so close to somebody, and you can't, if they aren't into it, you can't be like, oh no, that's not what I was doing.
Yeah.
That's right.
You can't play it off like
Is
you
this-
weren't trying to do it.
Our noses were touching. There's a
Yeah.
line where you're like, okay, if you weren't into this, maybe pull back a bit. There's only so much politeness
Yes.
will bring people close together.
But I think what's great though, when you're friends with somebody, I guess it could be really awkward if you try to kiss like somebody who's been your friend for a long time. But
Yeah.
I think you can feel when there's chemistry between two people.
Yeah.
I think it was clear that we both had feelings for each other and wanted it just to be more of a friendship. Like it just seemed to be naturally going in that area.
We've in conversation, we've always had really great conversations. We've always been really good communicators with one another. I think we're very much on the same page in terms of how people communicate with each other. So we had a very easy time talking from the very night we met,
Right.
which contributes obviously to a great relationship, whether it's friendship or
Romantic.
beyond.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But so by the time the kiss happened, like a couple of years ago, it was just, we were on a friend's couch and I was sort of leaning in and I wasn't feeling much resistance and yeah.
It's funny too because like this was actually at Steve and Sean's place. So I had been living with them previously. I wasn't living with them anymore. They had their own place. And
we were both over there hanging out.
And I think like Steve had stepped into the other room or something. For whatever reason.
Yeah, they weren't like watching.
No, we were briefly alone in the living room. And so there was still something, I think because we're friends, there's something like sort of Friends the TV show about it, of like two of them kissing. Whoa, ooh la la. This means something. And
Yes!
like, don't tell Joey. Like, there was a definite kind of like that element to it because it was
fast.
It was fleeting, but it was awesome. It was the start of something pretty exciting. So.
That's so.
But yeah, we did break apart really quickly and then it was like, well, we're not going to mention that.
Yeah, and then we just kind of sat politely on the
That's
couch.
thing, because when you're friends, you have so many mutual friends who know the both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, if things ever went to shit, it would just be not great.
Yeah.
Which is
it has
and that's
potential.
kind of how I approach friends, which is with a lot of fucking caution. Like, a lot. Because I'm just like, I've built a friend group around my friends, and it's just like, if anything happens, like, I don't want drama. Like, I don't want, like, him saying something and me saying something.
No,
and
leave me
friends
out of it.
picking, you know what I mean? Like, it's...
You gotta work that out yourselves.
But you'd think that would change with age. It doesn't. It's still
No,
a thing.
it doesn't. In a way, it's worse because people are so...
well, it almost gets more serious.
Loyalty means is so much more, I think, with adult friendships, because I think, like, in high school or whatever, in university, it can be so fleeting because sometimes you know people for 4 years and they're gone and you never see them again.
And you dated that the relationship that is driving a wedge between your friend circle lasted for all the 3 weeks, and it doesn't really matter. Now you've got to decide who takes the mini fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so much other even just boyfriend and girlfriend sharing a space, sharing a living space that like adds so much more. You've got to, even if they're not living together, you've got to return stuff to them, which is the worst.
Ugh, the worst. Yeah.
So
Hardest part of breaking up is getting back your stuff.
Getting back your stuff. Absolutely.
Together.
Yep.
They said it right.
But I think that's part of why part of why it gets so much more serious.
Right.
Breakups now aren't as lighthearted as they were in high school, but they felt just as heavy back then too.
Exactly. So what did when you started dating? Yeah. Because you guys mentioned there wasn't necessarily like a specific first date.
No.
What was the moment of like, okay, we're a couple now? Did you have a moment that just kind of naturally happened?
It just happened. We never had that conversation.
I fucking love that.
I don't think so.
I don't think we ever really talked. I never asked like, so are you my girlfriend? Or like it never.
And that's the perfect way to ask that question.
That's how you ask that question, by the way. Taking notes, kids.
We did have a chat at one point about like, okay, are we both ready to like be in a relationship? Like it's like a serious one, or do we still want to be a little loosey-goosey about things? And then we decided that we did. Burping lot.
It's the beer. That's my fault.
And it's also the baby. Indigestion is a bitch. Anyhow,
my God.
Sorry,
I didn't hear the burp at all.
I'm talking about these nice things,
and every now and then
I'm like, no, I'm trying to.
Puts her hand in her mouth and is just like tearing up a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, this is really like touching. Turns out gas.
No, it's gas.
Find a nickel for every time that happens.
Fuck, I don't even know what I was saying. We love. You had
a moment of. Are we ready to be in a serious thingy?
Yeah, it was mostly me. That I wanted to know if I was ready, and yeah, we kind of chatted about that for a couple. We kind of like left it up in the air, like, well, let's just see how it goes, and we just kept wanting to be with each other. Like, I didn't want to date anybody else, and I just didn't want to be with anybody else. And then once you make that decision, then it was easy, and then we.
It was almost like by process of elimination. Like you're like, like it wasn't even so much that it was like, hey, will you be my girlfriend and let's hope that works out. It was kind of like nothing else had really worked out with other people.
Exactly.
And this is working really great.
Yeah.
And we're not even really trying.
And we're not working at it.
Why the heck not?
So that seems like a thing.
And that's one thing I love about you guys, because you guys seem so like, it just seems like it's easy. You know what I mean? Like you're both totally yourself. You both love each other for who you are. Like it's it's the ideal fucking situation.
It's good. Like we really.
It's not always easy. I mean, with any relationship, you have to work things out.
Well, it's the same. I mean, and in the way that friends would too. Yeah. And I think it's great that we. I think it is great that we were friends first, because we already liked each other. We liked each other before there were any benefits to it.
Yeah, and then you just have the benefits to look forward to.
And then it's just like, well, this is awesome.
And there's no question of like, is this person just using me for my love and tenderness?
Love and tenderness. Yeah, but it's like, but this is amazing. You should try this. This is great. So yeah, it's good. I'm lucky. He's really good to me.
Yeah,
it's true. I am.
You guys are both awesome people. I'm super excited. So we're gonna get into the pregnancy stuff now, because this is the juicy stuff.
Okay.
I like I said, I've had 2 pregnant women on. And I just want to know, too, Melanie is drinking non-alcoholic beer. With Sandra and Lindsay, I got the champagne, and both times that they opened it, it spilled everywhere. And I'm just like, I got a new computer. I cannot risk that this time.
Well, this makes me feel, this feels more real, because it's like I'm drinking right out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Swill it around.
Swilling it
There's
around.
a label on it.
Exactly. Oh my god, we didn't do a cheers yet.
Oh,
so
cheers.
let's do a cheers. We need to get the sound. Yes, that sound's the best sound.
Cheers.
But
Shoot.
so you're 34 weeks along. So how did you find out you were pregnant? That's my first question. Because this is like, I love this moment with women. I've taken many an unwarranted pregnancy test. And so I'm just like, just the idea of like looking at it and
hoping for it to be.
Well, I was never hoping for it, but just the idea of, as a woman,
That's what I mean.
that,
looking at it and hoping that it says you're pregnant is an entirely different experience.
So tell me about it. I want to know it all.
Well, it's kind of funny because we had been trying for a couple of months, and nothing. And then it's not insulting you. I didn't get pregnant.
She's looking at me when she says it too. She's like, because of you did this.
So I was at work, and it would have been coming up to about the time when I would have been able to find out if I was pregnant. And I wasn't feeling great, and my boobs were really sore, basically, and I wasn't feeling great. And I was like, wait a minute.
Hang on.
Wait a minute. So I couldn't wait to get home. So I went to the drugstore, which is right next to my office. And it's such a non-romantic story. Like, you picture a couple like looking at it together, and there's that moment they look in each other's eyes and they look down and see that they're pregnant, and look again and they kiss, and there's this cheers. No, I took a pee test.
Who else is there?
I said tears.
I hope
tears, tears.
That's probably going to be the stock image for this episode.
Oh my god, please use the stock image of the visibly pregnant woman and the man holding the pregnancy test going,
oh my god,
we're pregnant, who knew? Oh, that would be amazing.
So yeah, I took
watermelon seed.
I took a pee test in the bathroom stall at work.
Did you? So you didn't even wait till you got home?
No, I really
You took
wanted
it
to
right
know.
away.
I took it at work.
Right away, and she texted me a picture of the pregnancy test.
Had a very faint line.
A very faint pink line, and then texted me a picture of her doing this.
Oh my god! I just knowing you, I can see that picture right now. That's hilarious.
Because I thought the moment would be, I would look at it and it would be such a clear, yes, you're pregnant, and I would be like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah,
but no,
we've done it. Like landing on the moon, a whole control room of people would be like, yeah, bring out the champagne.
Right.
But this was more of a.
It was a bathroom stall.
You're like, I think it's positive.
No, we'll see.
That's one thing. So I've seen a lot of people post pictures of their pregnancy tests on the internet.
They peed on those.
And, I mean, I know that it's up to the couple when they want to announce stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty early.
Some people do it way too early, and it's like, I'll see the pregnancy test, and I'm like, did what you did, that's a real faint line. Maybe,
that could be wrong.
I took 10.
Yeah.
Well,
but I would have the same thing.
We still have pregnancy tests all over the house. I've not used one.
Still.
Yeah, but because we just bought them
everywhere.
They're just everywhere. Yeah, in that shrub over there. Because we were trying, we had bought them in bulk,
Costco style.
Well, yeah, and actually the cheapest place to get them is from the dollar store.
Yes,
and it's they're just as effective. It's all the same ingredients.
Right.
So we still have a bunch of them. Now they only last for so long, so we're not gonna. I don't know why we still have them.
I think pregnancy tests have a pretty long shelf life.
We're just negligent.
It's the
pee that you can't hold on to.
No, the ovulation test that.
Right. Yeah. We still have a bunch of those too.
It felt like.
So it wasn't that momentous moment of we've done it.
It was
kind of dulled a little bit because we had tried so many times. We'd done the test so many times. The test itself was kind of routine, and there had been a couple where it was there might be a little something there, but it's real faint. And then we look again later, and the line's gone. So the picture of the of the completed test and the shrug as like an announcement to me.
So what did you do?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I also texted him. I was like, I don't know what this means.
Is that supposed to be a plus sign?
So you got it. Were you home when you got it, or were you working?
I think I was at work. I think I was working.
And
was I just at home?
I think you were just at home. And I think you wrote back like, OMG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do, right?
Yeah.
As a text.
Yeah.
I probably could have called. But you were in the bathroom still for all I knew.
I mean, like, and because I know when we were talking about it, like the first month we wanted to test, Ben's like, no, don't test without me. Like, make sure I'm there in the room. But by the 4th month, it was just, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Every
in the
time,
stall at work.
every time she needs to pee, she's busting one out.
Oh, God love you guys.
We just wanted to know.
Just wanted to know.
So anyway, we were very happy that
Oh,
a faint
my
line does
gosh.
mean you're pregnant, and it kept getting darker, and everything went well, and
Kept
now
getting
here we
pregnant.
are.
And you had it confirmed? Like, did you go to the doctor?
Yeah, but not until, I don't know, it was like 4 weeks. Yeah,
Right.
and then they like actually do like a blood test to
test.
make sure.
Right. Which seems more intense. The blood test seems more intense to me. I don't know why.
It's like it's there's no questioning it
Right.
with a blood test.
Yes,
It is like the
there is a
official
baby
thing.
there.
Like if you want to kind of play dumb because you've got a bachelor party coming up and you still want to drink for it, don't get the blood test done before then because you're going to know for sure one way or another.
That's
You're
what I
going to
wanna
make
know
a
about.
great dad.
I asked this to every pregnant lady, how they deal with that. The not
drinking?
drinking. So, like, did you have any ninja moves that you did to, like, make people think... Or were you...
No, but
Well, that's not entirely true because so it was December when we conceived, and we
like to hide the fact that I'm not drinking.
Yeah, we had a great big New Year's shindig at our house, and
I was a week pregnant.
she was a week pregnant at that point.
Well, that I had.
But
Yeah,
That I
but she
knew.
had
I
decided-
had known I was pregnant for a week.
Right.
Melanie had decided that she didn't want to. That it was like her choice. You can have some small drinks here and there. Apparently,
Yeah.
word on the street is.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. I would probably trust the doctor's opinion.
Right.
But Melanie decided that she's not going to do it. Not going to drink anything.
Yeah. Which I
And so we were
totally
thinking
get.
like we're gonna have a lot of people there. We have a couple of my cousins who know that we're trying, so they'd be very suspicious. And they have kids, so they're very excited. So they would be like private investigator looking around to see like checking labels and stuff like that. So what we ended up doing, Melanie went to like the party store, and when we got all of our decorations, she bought like New Year's label stickers, which I didn't even know you could get, but they were there. And so we put Happy New Year labels over top of the labels on all of the champagne that we got. And so we had a big ice bucket with all kinds of bottles of champagne, and Melanie's bottle of champagne was in the fridge with a label over it covering the label underneath that says de-alcoholized champagne.
Oh my god, that's genius!
But the funny thing is, a friend, I was drinking it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And a friend was like, oh, can I try some? And I had this moment of like, is she gonna know?
But it tastes the same.
It tastes the same, which also freaked me out because I'd be drinking and I'd go,
Should keep out there double checking.
oh no, did I pick up someone else's drink?
Yeah.
So I throw that out and go get another one. So I went through a lot of different glasses that night just out of paranoia. But
Sure,
but yeah, I think the big secret though, like I have not found it hard not to drink. I have missed beer this summer. I am looking forward to baby coming so I can have a beer again.
A real one.
But I think the biggest trick was getting so drunk at my birthday at the end of November that I really didn't feel the need to drink again until about now.
You were very drunk.
Yes,
That was the night I cried to you.
Yes, it was.
And then I remember leaving, and it was just, Melanie's in the bathroom.
Yeah, she's on the floor in the basement.
I went to bed after that. I went to bed on my own. I went to bed
And
my
by
35th
went to bed, she means crawled to bed on her
Crawled.
hands and knees.
on my 35th birthday.
I think that's how you do a 35th, though.
Hell,
I was in
yes.
bed at like midnight. I
No.
woke up.
The rest of the party was quick.
You lived, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
She
good.
survived.
I woke up at like 4 a.m. and the party is still going, and I've been asleep already for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's a good party.
Yeah.
And I want to say as well is that Melanie and Ben have the most amazing home.
Oh, thank you.
And it's on a lake. And they have a karaoke set up.
We're pretty fired up now.
It's unreal.
It's pretty great. We were looking to buy a place kind of half-heartedly, and then when we stumbled across this place, we just fell in love with it right away. So.
It's gorgeous. Head to toe.
Head to toe.
Floor to ceiling. Floor to ceiling windows.
Sleeve to sleeve.
Yeah. So awesome. So, but one of the things that kind of triggered me having you on was when I started the podcast. It was around the time of your birthday, I believe. Mm-hmm. Well, when's your birthday?
November 24th.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I was thinking about doing the podcast then.
No, I remember because we were talking in my kitchen.
Yeah.
And you said, I have this idea where people just get drunk and then we do a podcast. And I was like, I'd love to do that.
And you said that you're like, I'd be down to do that. I'll go sit in the bathroom floor with you. And I'm like, you're not sitting on the bathroom floor this time.
No.
Yeah, that wouldn't be as comfortable as what you're dealing with now. So, but one of the things that triggered you coming on now was I put a status up being like, I kind of want to talk about body image issues because it's something that I'm struggling with as a 30-year-old. I thought I got over that in my mid-20s. It's back. It's like a second puberty or something when you're in your 30s. And I put a status up, and I got an overwhelming amount of responses from men wanting to talk about body image stuff. But then you also responded saying that you're like, I could talk about pregnancy stuff. So how are you feeling? How are you dealing with it? What are your tips? Because there's probably people listening that I actually know a lot of my Facebook friends are pregnant right now. So,
no, I don't know where to start.
Because you've been very honest about how it makes you feel, and when you feel like crap, it can be hard to take yourself out of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to feel. It's hard to feel sick and also be physically so different. Not even quite to recognize yourself in the mirror and to feel really sick. So that's been tough. It's just burping.
I'm not hearing it at all. You have silent burps.
I'm really trying to keep them at bay, but this is a perfect example of how you're like, I put on a dress and mascara and I feel nice. And I'm just sitting here. It doesn't matter. I'm just burping away because pregnancy is disgusting.
Yeah. I want that to be the title.
Oh, that totally should be the title.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Body positivity, pregnancy is disgusting.
Pregnancy is disgusting. I don't know. Where should I start?
So, I guess it's kind of one of those things. When you gain weight, when you're not pregnant, that's hard to deal with. But, when you're gaining weight with a pregnancy, obviously people are going to be like, you're pregnant. But you mentioned the thing of, having strangers come up to you and be like, oh... I feel like there's an etiquette there.
Yeah.
You don't... It's like when someone's sunburned, and you're like, you look like you got some sun.
Haha, thanks.
Why?
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Why?
Yeah.
I had my first case of a stranger coming up to me and saying, wow, looks like you're ready to pop.
Oh my God.
And I was like, thanks. I have 6 weeks left. I will keep that in mind as my fetus continues to gain approximately 1 pound a week. Jackass.
Oh my God. That's so inappropriate.
But I imagine, I feel like nobody's doing that with the intention of being inappropriate.
No, she's not just being so
just
sweet.
Just trying to be sweet, and that's their way of trying to connect with you, but that just goes to show how far from being connected to you they are when...
Yeah.
And also, I just don't like the expression...
About to
pop.
I know, it's really weird.
I'm not going to pop.
There's no
Oh my God, that's not what happens.
We need to talk.
Oh my God. No, but it's just yeah, and it's weird because it messes with you. So this woman was like, wow, looks like you're ready to pop. And I'm thinking my baby's probably going to put on, could put on anywhere between another 3 to... 6 pounds at this point. We don't know how big he's going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
At this point, he's supposed to be, I think, about 4 3/4 or something.
Like that,
but if we have a teeny baby who's 6 pounds, then great, he's almost done. But Ben was a bruiser. He was almost 10 pounds. So
it was
right. There could be a lot more to come.
Yeah.
So it's weird to hear that from somebody who's a stranger, and then to have other, be actually measured at the doctor's office, and they're saying, "Oh, you're measuring a little small." So it's
a weird
it just messes with you. Like, there are days when I feel massive, and then there are other days when I'm like, is it big enough? You know, it just messes with you.
Good days and bad days, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I just want him to be healthy,
right?
And then when he comes out, for me to be very, very thin,
svelte.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
But it's entirely possible, because for the whole first trimester, you just lost weight.
Oh, did you? Because the puking.
Yeah, because of the puking.
Oh, shit.
Because of the puking, and then of course the nausea, so you just can't even really eat that much. And then as the pregnancy's progressed, still felt really nauseous, but now she's got a big old baby in there who's like, get that stomach out of my face. So there's only room for like a few jelly beans at a time.
And I will preface this by saying I really, gaining weight through the pregnancy is not something that ever scared me. I think that actually deters some women, or it's a really huge issue for them. It's not been a big issue for me as long as I'm healthy and baby's healthy.
Right.
I think what is just hard is realizing, say, gaining weight, and then the baby's born, then you look at yourself and realize you look different, and then you go, why didn't I appreciate how I looked before? Because I wasn't happy before, and now I would love to look like that. And that's I feel like women, and maybe men too, I don't want to generalize, but I feel like women do that a lot, because I know I've been doing that my entire life. Like when I was in my 20s, thinking I'm so out of shape. And then when I was in my 30s, I was like, oh my God, I wish I looked like I did when I was in my 20s.
I recently had
grass is always greener.
A coworker, a male coworker, say to me recently something to the effect of, I wish I was as fat as I was when I first thought I was fat.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. I wish I go back to the first time when I was like, I'm fat, and have that body again.
I know.
I guess you never appreciate what you've got without context, right?
Totally.
Is that lucky versus unlucky? Like, you could be the luckiest person alive, but unless you have a stroke of bad luck, you're never going to know it. You need the bad luck to
That's very,
show
very
how.
true.
And it's very drastic, I think, with pregnancy, because the weight gain and stretch marks and all that, or if your boobs get really bigger, it happens so quickly. Right? It's not like, oh, this really happened gradually. I mean, 9 months, you totally change.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, this is okay. I just get used to this now. I have a ton of stretch marks on my belly, and I mean, it is what it is. And I have read comments online that will just infuriate it.
Infuriate. That's a hard word to say.
Really piss you off. And where people will be like, oh, well, why didn't you take care of yourself? And you're supposed to put coconut oil on your belly, and you gain too much weight. Well, it really has nothing to do with that. I've been applying oil every night. So far, I've only gained 8 pounds during the pregnancy. Wow. And I have a ton of stretch marks on my belly.
Before you even started showing,
I literally was a month pregnant, and I started getting some.
Really?
And she was losing weight at this point. And
I told Ben, I'm not surprised, because when I had a growth spurt, in grade 7, I had tons of stretch marks on my hips. And that's just how I am. That's how my skin is. That's how my genetics are. So, it is what it is. Yeah. But now I have to get used to that, because in 9 months, my belly's really changed, and now that's just who I am now. I just have to get used to that. And it can be, I mean, the good thing is it comes with a little baby. So
yeah, an actual human.
Yeah.
But it's a big change. It's a big change.
Yeah.
Because I look back and thinking gee, a year ago I was so hard on myself for the way I looked. Right. And now I'm going, oh man, I should have really appreciated that, because that version didn't have stretch marks.
Said something. We were on Instagram, just scrolling through, and a friend of ours had gotten some boudoir photography done, and Melanie was like, "I wish I had thought to do that before I got pregnant, because who knows what my body will be like afterwards." Yeah. And I guess just to appreciate it and everything, but yeah, like you said, it's hard to appreciate what you got till it's gone.
until
Yeah.
until it changes. Yeah.
He's really
The fact is, I mean, she's got lots of stretch marks and everything, but that's all like they're sweet. It's all part of what's making her a mom, and she's got her tiger stripes.
And I say
he's so sweet. This is like the sort of stuff he says.
I know. I'm just sitting here watching you guys look at each other. I'm like, ouch, my heart. My cold black heart.
It makes such a big difference to have like a supportive partner though, because like I look at myself in the mirror and I'm going, oh my gosh, like I'm getting more. They're getting darker, or like they're bigger. And Ben's just like, what did he say? One day he was like, they look like the wings of a phoenix.
Oh yeah, because they're like wrapped up either side of the baby belly. So like right now they're kind of like these like wings reaching up on either side of the baby belly. If you wanted to get a totally badass like phoenix rising like tattoo all across your abdomen. You could totally do it. You could just incorporate all of the little red marks.
It's hard to be down on yourself when the person like who loves you
embracing them like that.
Stretch marks look like the wings of a phoenix.
Oh,
and I was like, wow, yeah. I mean, like, sure, let's go with that.
I mean, it's not, pregnancy itself is not like a graceful thing.
No,
and it takes a serious badass to get through it.
Fuck yeah.
And that's just a part of it. If I had like a gnarly scar from like an incident with a chainsaw or something, you bet your ass I'd be showing that off and being yeah, look at this thing. I did it to myself because I'm a stupid asshole.
Right.
And I dropped a chainsaw on my leg when I was, felling a tree.
Right.
But somehow that's like more socially acceptable and masculine than the stretch marks that a woman's gotten through, like going through pregnancies.
And you know what I'm saying? You still get those boudoir photos done.
I will. But now, will I be one of these women that says, like, I'm cool with them, let's just show my stretch marks? I don't know. I may be like, can we Photoshop those out? I would love to be the latter, but or the former, but I don't know. Wait, what order did I say that in?
You said Photoshop second.
I like
so you want to be
the former.
There you go. But you know what? That's fine too, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to just accentuate the things that you like more.
That's true.
Nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
That's true.
So do you have any tips like for women who might not be feeling the most confident about themselves during pregnancy? Anything that you do to like make yourself feel more sexy about yourself?
Well, I have really enjoyed wearing tighter maternity clothes.
Hell yeah.
Because if there is a time you want to show off like a big belly, show it off, it's when you're pregnant. It's fun.
Yeah.
I've never worn skin tight clothing because I cannot pull it off. I would love to be able to, but I can't. So like I went into this pregnancy.
Ben's not saying anything.
I'm not.
Ben disagrees. I
disagree.
Yeah, there you go. He disagrees.
I shouldn't say. I can't. I don't feel comfortable with it.
That's probably more.
Yeah.
That's important.
Went into the pregnancy as a curvy lady, and now I'm wearing clothes that that they're like actually tighter than things I would normally wear, and that actually makes me feel really good. Yeah. I feel like really like lovely being pregnant.
And you get a lot of comments of people being like, "Oh, you look so cute," and everything. Like people are really loving you pregnant.
So like accentuate, like I don't know. For me, it's nice. Like
show it off.
Show it off.
This is your time.
Show off your boobs.
Sun's out, time's out.
Sun's out, time's out.
But I would say, I don't know. For me, one of the biggest things has been having a supportive partner. And like Ben doesn't, he doesn't say things for the sake of saying it. When he says like, when he compliments my stretch marks, he's not just like laying it on, like he's being genuine. And that has made such a big difference. I never loved myself as much as I did when Ben and I started dating. Did that come out right?
That did come out
right.
I
have major baby brain, by the way. It's a real thing. I'm super dumb. But
that came out perfect.
He's always made me feel the best I have ever felt because he loves me head to toe. And it's amazing when somebody gives that to you and you realize all the self-confidence that you sort of always had, but you'd kind of like buried it. And it just makes you feel better all around.
Oh my God. That's the perfect way to say it too.
We often
perfect way to say it.
We often say that like we're a team. And if we're like having a tough conversation, about something that we're like, if we're talking money, which is obviously for like 90% of couples that divorce, that the word money comes up in the proceedings. When we're having tough conversations about that kind of thing, we'll often remind each other that like we're on the same team.
Yeah,
we're on the same team, and a team supports each other, and they work together towards the same goal. And I think that's really important. And I recognize that not everybody has that. And it feels kind of cheap to be like, well, you should have that. Well, of course you should have that. Everybody wants to have a teammate, Everybody wants to have a supportive partner, if you want to have a partner. But outside of that, I don't know. What do you have any
But I think you are rocking it. And I freaking love it. And I think you look amazing. I know that saying that might not matter once you've puked in an ocean. So can you tell that story? One thing I love about Melanie is just her humor about it and her honesty. So right before she came on got here, I was like just scrolling through Facebook and I was like 55 minutes ago. And then you made a status about puking in the ocean.
Yeah. So we went to the beach today for the first time this summer, which was nice.
Very nice.
And we had gone for lunch prior. And so we're swimming. We're like in the ocean for about, 5 minutes, maybe less. And we're swimming. And
there's some good surf too. Waves are coming up and down. Yeah. They're like a good size.
You don't go out too far though, right?
No, I can't really swim. Good. And I'm weighed down now with baby. So, but Ben's an excellent swimmer, so he knows to watch out for me in case I start flailing around. Anyhow, so so we had eaten lunch. We're in the ocean for about 5 minutes. And we're swimming, and then I just have that
oh man.
She was in the middle of saying something. I can't even remember.
I was talking about, I started coughing, and Ben said, like, are you okay? And I was trying to say, well, I start coughing if I laugh too much.
Yeah.
Which is the thing.
She was like, she got out like, well, if I, and then like covered her mouth and gave me this look like, oh no.
And then it was decision time.
And then.
Because it's already in my mouth, and I'm going, there's a lot. I don't think this is a just swallow it back kind of moment.
Oh, no!
It had to come out.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went.
She just like, if you're like at the dentist and they got the suction thing going, and then sometimes they're like, okay, just turn your head a little bit, and you turn it, and it's just like drool. It just drops out of your mouth.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, but it was funny because we were making eye contact the whole time. So I'm like, are you okay? And she was like, covers her mouth, and I'm like, oh no. And then she just like, still mouth closed, just kind of like gives me a little shrug, and then just opens her mouth, and it just drops out. The same shrug that she gave me.
The Melanie shrug.
And then I just tried to splash it away.
Splash it away. Meanwhile, I'm just cackling into the waves, swimming away at this point.
You looked horrified, and I apologized. But here's the thing: it's all like stayed together in a lump and just started floating away. And all I could think of was like, oh god, the children.
Oh my god! That's just ocean residue.
That's
all
fine.
Good.
It's algae.
Yeah.
That's definitely not mucus and grilled cheese.
So is puking when you're pregnant? Okay, here's a question I have. Is it the same as, because I get nauseous from drinking a lot, and that's a good long.
That's how you know
process.
when you're doing it right.
Yeah, hell yeah. But I feel like in movies and like from what I hear from pregnant ladies, which is like it just happens so quick. Mm-hmm. And you just puke. So is it like, do you even feel, you just feel nauseous and then it's like, bam, puke?
Yes. Well, in my experience, it is like puking when you're like maybe like stomach sick or something, like you have like a stomach flu.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or you're kind of like, I'm like, I don't feel so good.
You're kind of on the edge.
I'm like, but I don't think I'm going to puke. I think I'll be fine. And then, I got to run to the washroom. So, yeah.
It's similar to that.
It's like that. But if one thing has been good about throwing up for the past 35 weeks, it's that
God love ya.
I have lost my fear of throwing up.
Oh my god. And that's such a fear. I have it.
People are afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid to throw up.
There's nothing to fear. Now it's mostly like, well, Ben and I overshare. So I'll be saying to Ben, like, oh God, I gotta throw up. Oh no, I don't want to throw up because I just had like butter chicken.
Yeah, she'll
yeah.
be like, I just ate this meal and it was so good. I don't want to throw it up. I don't want to know what that's like to throw.
I was
that
like,
up.
no, man, I had rice.
It'll ruin it for you.
I don't want to throw up rice. No one wants to throw up rice.
Nobody
but
wants to throw
I've
rice.
thrown it all up now. There's nothing that can scare me.
There's nothing she hasn't thrown up.
Okay.
There's nothing.
Okay, well, have you ever thrown up asparagus?
Well, I don't like asparagus.
Okay, so I ate asparagus one night before I did a fucking podcast with my friend Neil, who's always at karaoke.
That's right, Neil.
He's a karaoke regular.
Real Neil.
He was probably one of the drunkest intoxicated. We
Yes.
drank very sugary beverages. We drank broken down golf carts, which was melon liqueur and amaretto and vodka and cranberry juice.
Delicious.
And then
I was just sipping them all night, and I got home, and I always get sick when I'm in the cab on the way home, and I'm so close.
Yep.
And
Your
I
body
got home,
knows.
and I puked, and my immediate thought was, do I have worms? And then I thought, no, it's asparagus.
asparagus.
So yeah, not
And if
worst
that makes-
thing to throw up ever.
If that makes
worst
your
thing
pee
to throw
smell
up ever.
weird,
Yeah.
what does it do to your pee?
That's the thing, and
That's
you know what?
gross.
Haven't eaten it since. I just can't.
That's a good reason, though.
I can't not like. It's just one of those things. It's like when you get food poisoning because of something like you can even
Turns
love
you
that
off the
thing.
rest of your
Like,
life.
oh,
You
that
can love
pad
that
thai,
thing,
can't
but
do it.
it gave you food poisoning, so it ruins you for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you never eat it again.
Yeah.
It was like Sailor Jerry's spice rum for me.
Oh.
Ruined it. Ruined it.
Really? I love Sailor Jerry's spice rum.
Yeah, I used to.
Yeah.
Apple pie. What's it? McGillicuddy's?
Dr. McGillicuddy's.
Yeah. Apple pie. Nope.
No.
Apple pie schnapps.
The worst.
It's
the
super
worst
tasty.
experience of my life.
It's super, super tasty, but yeah, if you've puked it up.
Sandra was there. She could tell you about it.
Well,
That's another super fucking cool thing I should mention. That you and Sandra are like, your kids are going to be so close in age.
Yeah, we're hoping that they love each other so much. And if not, we will force them to.
My gosh, they will.
They
like,
need to
there's
at
no way that they
least
can't.
be friends. At
Yeah.
least friends. Kind of hoping they're gay for each other, but we're gonna just let that.
That would be like
happen
you
naturally.
hit the gold mine.
Yeah, absolutely. We could have some
100%.
babies.
We're like definitely though going to force a friendship on those two little tots. It's going to be so cute.
I think just by virtue of them growing up with each other so much, they'll be friends at least until like grade 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's where kids start to fall along certain lines
Yeah.
within social groups.
They
and
start to
everything.
figure it out.
And then you go,
Wouldn't that be
wait a
terrible?
minute, you're a fucking loser.
Wait, whose baby are you talking about?
Ours, obviously.
Oh man, do you have a name picked out yet? You don't have to tell me what it is.
We do.
But do you have the name?
We do have
did
a
that?
name and 2 middle names.
Oh,
We are set.
We're ready to rock.
was it an easy decision? Or like,
more or
you know
less.
what? It was more or less. It took time, but we didn't have to like really slog through a whole bunch of names. We didn't like sit down looking at a website and be like, well, what about Timothy? We were
Right.
like, we just kind of like as a name would come to us or come up, or we would like be looking through movie credits. Our big thing. I've always liked looking at movie
oh
credits
my
for
god,
names.
that's a great idea.
And I. So by looking through movie credits,
So we're naming our child craft services.
yeah, craft services, MGM Craft Services. But
I couldn't wait. I had to let it out.
we said we weren't going to tell anybody.
Oh my god.
But because of that, we would just occasionally be like, "What about this name?" And so we weren't really working hard at it, and then it kind of fell in place. And so there were a lot of names that we would run through, and then we'd have to be like, "Okay, well, what about a full name?" And then we just have to do it all together because there's nothing worse than having like a name that doesn't have a good rhythm
Yes.
to it. It's really, really hard to say your own name if it doesn't have a good rhythm, and it's hard to hear it.
Yeah.
I find a lot of people, if your name doesn't have a good rhythm and you tell somebody your name, they have a hard time. They'll need you to repeat it,
Yeah, and they might not remember it either.
and they may not remember it.
if it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Exactly, or if there's too much alliteration, or if the last letter of your middle name is the same as the first letter of your last name, then it kind of slurs together a little bit. So we had a lot of things that we didn't really talk about openly. Didn't say like we need to have these criteria, but just by virtue of like running off some names back and forth to each other, be like, no, I don't like that.
And the name we chose like means a lot to both of us, and And it was one of those things that, like, you know, you're throwing out different names, like Craft Services McMillan. Do we like that?
Yeah.
And you say it, and we're like, oh, that's kind of cool, but it didn't sound like it could be a person.
Right.
But then when we had our name picked out and we said it for the first time, it was like
all together.
It just came together.
It felt like he already existed. Like it just, we're like, yeah, that's it. We're
like
good.
we just grabbed somebody's whole name.
Oh my god,
and just
that's
put it
so
on that
fun.
person.
And the middle name you can have a lot of fun with too.
Absolutely.
Those-
I really,
kind of mix it
really
up.
advocated for Danger.
Yeah.
For what?
Danger.
Danger!
Really advocated for it. And I was like, I suggested it, and she's like, you're joking. And I'm like,
Wait,
no.
does someone we know have a middle name Danger? Or on Facebook is their middle name?
Probably must be somebody on Facebook.
I feel like that's someone's middle name.
But that's, I
Melanie,
legitimately,
you can't see.
she's just hungry.
She's face palming so hard right now.
That's right.
She's
She's pinching the bridge of her nose, like.
Well, but it's like, oh, that'd be so funny, because then it'd be like, oh, what's your name? It's like, oh, my middle name's Danger. Like,
That's not even a good impression of me.
That's just,
that's so exciting.
But how cool! How cool
It's a
would that
pretty
be?
badass middle name.
If your
I'm
middle
kind
name
of
was
with Ben
Danger,
on this one.
it'd be
But
like,
then I'm like, it's probably better in theory than reality.
I mean, possibly, but I don't know. That's a badass kid. As a follow up, I suggested Laser, but that also got shot down.
Yeah, that. Oh wow.
Rolls off the tongue. Though.
But you are having a boy, right?
we are having a boy.
Yep.
So did you were you hoping for something, or were you just kind of like, whatever I get, I'm happy with?
We both thought, for no good reason, that it may be a girl.
Right, and not just us, but
Everybody.
like, every member
Really?
of our
Really?
family,
Oh.
for some reason,
Had the feeling
for
that
no
it-
reason.
You know what? I think it's going to be a girl.
This is like when we
I don't
first
know
told
who
you.
that was supposed to be,
But
but
that was kind of your mom a little bit.
That's the voice anyone makes where they presume to know the gender.
Yeah, that's,
Based on psychic
did
abilities.
you just assume I?
Her. Yeah.
It might be a girl.
So
Yeah.
when we found out in the ultrasound that it was a boy, it was like I was surprised. Like I felt like surprised
what?
because in my mind, I thought we were having a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And a girl's name? We picked out like that.
That's the other thing.
No trouble.
Tell me what the girl's name would have been?
No, because we might
Oh,
have one.
damn.
We might
Yeah, I
still-
guess if you have a girl.
Oh, we had the middle name, the first name, middle name set for like a year now. Like we were good to go.
Yeah.
Boy's name, we were like, no, we'll never need to worry about that. What are the odds of having a boy?
50-50 as it turns out.
It's true.
Flip of a coin.
Very high chance.
That's just considerable.
But you
1
know,
and 2.
I think a lot of people, and no one talks about this, but I think people often have preferences for what
Yes.
they would like. And no one talks about it because you're just supposed to be grateful that you have a healthy baby. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that you had hoped for or whatever. So
No,
what I said
100% no.
what I said to Ben was, first of all, we're thrilled to be having a little boy. But I said to Ben, it's not that, shit, how did I word this earlier? I said it earlier today.
Yeah, it's not that you were like disappointed.
It's not that I wasn't disappointed that it was a boy. I was just disappointed that we weren't gonna have a girl. Is that
Yeah, like
is
like
that-
it was something along those lines. It was like
Yeah.
we're not sad to have a boy, and we weren't in that moment being like, no, it's a boy. We were more just kind of like, oh, it's not a girl.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing, because we were, whether you intend to or not, you always set expectations.
Yeah, 100%.
If- for yourself and for jobs, for movies, for anything. You
Yeah.
can't go in with zero expectations.
It's true.
You are going to have some expectations, whether you vocalize them or not, whether you knew about it or not.
Yeah.
If you are trying to decide between two things and you're like, I can't really make up my mind between two things, flip a coin, and heads or tails, you assign it, you look, and if you go and you're like, oh, it's tails, I kind of
That's your expectation.
then you know what
right.
one you were expecting more. And for us, that expectation was for a girl. For no reason. No reason whatsoever. I guess partly because the name came to us so easily. I have a goddaughter, and I have a godson as well, but the goddaughter came first, and I absolutely love her, and like I wanted to have like Daddy's Little Princess and all that jazz. Like, so I mean, that's still a possibility. It's still on the table, but not with this pregnancy.
Not with this one.
We'll just dress him as a girl. Let's raise him as a girl.
Or he could choose.
He could choose, and he
whatever he
absolutely
wants
will.
to do.
That's
Whatever
right.
pronoun he wants, he's
whatever
gonna
he
get.
wants,
Yeah.
he gets. But yeah, that like wore off pretty instantly, and that's like we're having a boy. we're having, oh my God, we're having, and then like the first time we're like, oh my God, we're going to have a son.
And I only just, like, within the past week, 10 days, used the term son. Because we've always talked about, like, our baby boy and my little bean, my little buddy in there and everything. And then at some point in the past week we were talking and I realized, like, I've never said my son.
Yeah.
It's way more, like...
It's serious.
Intense.
That is like, oh shit, that's my son. That's not like, that's my little buddy. My little buddy, that could be like a ferret friend that
Could
I
be
have.
a rat on the street.
Exactly. That's a pigeon that often comes to the window at work. Like, that's my little buddy. This is my fucking son.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, that shit's serious.
You made that.
That's right. The half of that is me.
Half of that.
So now I'm just like, I'm so excited. People are like, what are you having? I'm like, we're having a boy.
See, that's just it. And I feel like, and I think sometimes, because I'm kind of the same way. I mean, having kids is so far from where I think I will be, but I'm like,
well, not with
if I
that
were
panty in the glass.
Oh, the
trick.
panty in the glass trick is going to get done.
Panty cocktail.
Fuck yeah, I'm keeping that all in. There's no way I'm taking that out. But in my mind, I'm like, I've always wanted a girl. Like, when I've thought about having kids, I'm like, and I'm like, I'm going to get a boy. Like, just because I know that life's going to throw that wrench.
Yeah.
Life will do that.
Yeah.
I have a question, though.
Shoot.
You don't have to answer it. Do you guys know when you conceived?
Oh, yeah.
Like the night? Or the day?
We do.
Or the morning? Whenever it was?
We do.
Yeah.
You
We
do?
know the exact date. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I always wonder that with couples who are pregnant. And I never ask because I'm like, they're going to think I'm weird. But I'm always so curious about that.
We
But
do.
I guess you could do the math and figure it out.
Yeah, but no, we didn't have to do the math. We knew, we were like, oh shit, this was that night. Because it was a particular night. It stands out for a few reasons. all good reasons.
Time out. Bleep, 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 bleep.
But no,
the fact of the matter is that you know
we
when
know
it was.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, so you just.
Do you want to talk about stretch marks?
Here's the thing: if we don't say anything now, is whatever people are going to imagine is way worse than what.
And let's be honest, at this point, they're an hour in. If they're still listening,
Yeah.
they might not even be around right now. So.
Oh yeah, and if they're still here, they've earned it.
They've earned this.
That's true.
But how are you doing with all the pregnancy stuff? Like, what's your feeling? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Like, I want to know your perspective. Because I know, Melanie, you're puking a lot. You're just like, you're just ready to get it done.
Yeah. She's got the restless legs, can't sleep, uncomfortable all the time.
Did you get any, like, sympathy symptoms? I heard that that's a thing.
No,
but I don't know if it's true or not.
I honestly haven't gotten any sympathetic symptoms. Just not that sympathetic. No, I guess I don't know. I haven't had any sympathy pains. Anything like that. But I do. My mother is like a natural caretaker.
Oh, okay.
She's always been really just been a very strong caretaker of people who need help. Mm-hmm. Like, she can't not help somebody who needs it, and so that's something that I was raised with as well. And I was raised with a very attentive caretaker in my mother, and that's something that like is really valuable to me now as an adult with a family to take care of. Mm-hmm. Is that I don't have to be like, oh, I should do something for Melanie. Like it's just right there. It's just right there to do. Like, that's the nature of love and a relationship with somebody for me.
Yeah,
is kind of being a bit of a caretaker,
taking on that role.
Yeah,
you grew up with it. I
grew up with that, and mom teaches children as well. She's an educational assistant. She's worked in like daycares and worked in elementary school and that kind of thing. Primarily works with children with special needs, and so children have always been, that's her education, is early childhood development. Children have always been kind of important to mom and therefore important to me. So right. As I've grown up, I did all of the like Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts and everything, and then I got to be like a mentor as part of that. I've worked at like summer camps as like canoe instructor and stuff like that, and day camps and that kind of thing. I really like kids.
Yeah.
And so because of that, this hasn't been like a stressful time for me.
Good.
This
Aw.
is...
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Listen, if we both were miserable, we would have fucking killed each other by
There
now.
you go. Someone has to be the...
So, like, yeah, it's a give and take. And
Ben's like,
she's
I've
had
been
a-
sleeping great. I've been having regular
sleep.
bowel movements.
more
Yes!
regular than ever. No, just a slight
Just a
ding
little
on that
ding.
one right now. But no, to be honest, I'm really excited to be a dad. I know I've always really liked kids, and I've been really exposed to that a lot. Exposed to child rearing and child education and everything. And I've always really, I don't know, I really like kids to make me happy. And so I'm excited for this because of that. So it's not like it hasn't been. I know some guys would probably be like freaking the fuck out. They're like, oh my god, my whole life is going to change. Mm-hmm. And they'd be afraid that that's like a really bad thing.
Right, but you're not.
I'm not really afraid that that's going to be.
You know what? And Jesse said that in his episode too. He said, when I found out that Sandra was pregnant, it was like a calm. It wasn't. It wasn't this.
Yeah, like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
I gotta get out of here.
that's like just a sign that you're probably gonna be a great dad, and you have a great relationship, and you guys
that
are
you're ready, I guess.
You're ready together. Yeah. You're gonna take this on together.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm really not afraid of having a child at all. Like, it wasn't like we were ready and then we found out we were pregnant. Well, like I said, I was like, well, I don't know. What do you think that means?
I love this.
And then we found out that we were, and it was like, that is great. Okay, next step. Like,
Yeah, for sure. And it's
been
not like
wonderful.
it was an
It's
accident
wonderful.
or a surprise either. Like, we were
You were trying.
Yeah, we were
actively
trying.
working
It was-
towards.
yeah,
The goal,
Yeah.
the end goal.
that's
right.
great.
Slam dunk.
We're excited.
Do you have any words? Because this podcast is going to be on the internet, and maybe
Wait, what?
Maybe in 15 years, when your son is like perusing the internet, maybe he'll come across it. So do you have anything to say? Any final words in embarking on this last month
Sure.
of pregnancy?
Oh god. Yes, here we go.
Pregnancy etiquette, maybe? Could be.
Well, I would just like to say, first of all, as your mother, I love you unconditionally. But also, you should know that just because you're like 16 and you want a car doesn't mean you're going to get it, because I wanted not to throw up for 8 months, but here we are. So
There you go.
He's not
How's
going to
that?
have to tune into a podcast from 15 years ago to hear that. That's going to be...
That's
He's going to hear that a lot.
It's going to be engraved.
He's going to hear that a lot.
what I've been saying lately is I can't wait for my son to be born so that I can exact revenge upon him.
It's a heavy burden to be born into that kind of resentment.
I'm already thinking of all the things I can just hold over his tiny little perfect head. So, no, I'm kidding. It's great.
So sincere.
I love it so much. I love it so much.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I'm super excited for you guys.
Thank you. We're very
Yeah,
excited.
Like, I'm going to be on Baby Watch big time.
Baby Watch 2017.
And I should say as well is that all of our friends are partying at a cottage right now. And
Yeah.
here we are talking about vomit. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yes, indeed.
So I think, oh yeah, so we'll wrap it up. But one thing I tend to do at the end of a podcast is a hashtag.
Okay.
In case some crazy fool gets through the whole episode, they can comment or tweet out the hashtag.
Use that
Okay.
specific hashtag.
What should the hashtag be? I was thinking it could have something to do with the panty drink. Because that's pretty good.
Ooh.
Hashtag panties in the class.
Or hashtag ocean vomit.
Hashtag ocean vomit. What was the thing that we said earlier that was like, oh, that should be the name of the episode?
Oh, pregnancy is disgusting.
Pregnancy is disgusting. Hashtag pregnancy is disgusting. Absolutely.
I like
That
it.
works.
Listen, it's freaking honest. And
It is.
you guys are going to be amazing. And I'm so happy for you guys. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
And Ben,
Namaste.
you got to promise that once this baby's born, you're going to let her come and have a girl, I call it Girl Toxicated,
Yes.
Ooh.
where a solo episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can dig it.
And
Yes.
give
With
her a
some
night
boy
off so
time.
she can get schmammered and talk more to me on
Yeah.
here.
That's
Sounds good.
That's what I
I'll
want.
do the old pump and dump. I'll take the little
Yeah.
fella. And...
Mommy needs a cocktail break.
And I mean, I've been saying I don't have a lot of experience with kids, but I'm available for babysitting.
Yeah,
That's great. That's actually, we've had
We don't care who takes
And
it.
ridiculous amount of
I mean, like,
offers from strangers.
I would be kind of scared, but I love your host, so I would be more than willing.
That's one of the main qualifiers. He goes to bed, and then you just enjoy that.
And I will just sing Bon Jovi karaoke on the floor,
Perfect.
crying.
We'll get that set up for you.
Yeah.
Oh man! Well, thanks guys so much. And,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this was fantastic. Thanks so much. And I'll end it up by saying, ring that bell.
Ding ding.
Golly gee, you made it to the very end. That's freaking awesome. I'm so happy that you got through the whole episode. It would be amazing if you could leave us an iTunes review. That's going to make us more visible so that other people find the podcast. So I'd really appreciate it if you could go over to iTunes and leave an iTunes review for the Intoxicated Podcast. I would love you almost as much as Melanie and Ben love each other. Thanks, guys.
Let me